Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Adriana Fiestra, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered.
Looking for stories that are fresh and new? Dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, cyberpunk, alternate history, and more. They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology. From 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold. Looking for something new in sci-fi or fantasy? Check out what Brandon Sanderson, Orson Scott Card, Nnedi Okorafor, and others chose as the best news stories of the year in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology. From 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, this is Monday, August 14th, and this is your host, Adriana, on Negotiating Happiness. Hello, Jenn. Thank you so much for joining us again. Just letting everybody know that we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. And check us out. Some of our shows are also on Roku TV if you wanted to sit back, relax, and watch us on your big screen. Welcome, Jenn.
Hi, thanks so much.
So I wanted to bring you on today to talk a little bit about one of our upcoming projects that I'm super, super excited about.
I am as well.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm like itchy and doing all the pre-work. And then you're like, okay, can we just let people in? Can we let people in? Can we tell people now? So I'm at that stage for sure.
Right. Can we let people in? I love it. So just a quick reintroduction for anybody that missed our first episode together. So Jenn knows firsthand what it takes to achieve success, and a well-rested brain is part of that operation. But who teaches us how to take a break or vacation in this hustle culture that we live in? That's kind of what I wanted to cover today. And Jenn is the principal of Honeyflow Coaching. So Jenn, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, as you said, I am a pretty long time entrepreneur. I started my first business, 2007. So math, whatever that is, but about 3 months after my first son was born, and he is now 16. He's driving, and that's frightening. No, I mean, he's doing great. He's doing great. But that's always kind of how I, piece back my entrepreneurship journey. And when I started that business, it was an advertising agency. Me and some partners, because we worked together, were like, well, we should probably just do this for ourselves, shouldn't we? That total blissful ignorance. Fast forward almost 14 years, and I really just had lost my sense of purpose within that business. And so I decided to sell it and move on to something different. And that's a really cool opportunity, and also completely frightening as an almost 40 something. And I was like, wait, what am I going to do when I grow up? And what I realized is I really loved working with entrepreneurs, especially women. Like I was starting a business all those years ago and navigating, life and the different roles of their life, and then adding kind of entrepreneurship into that. So how do I build a successful business while maintaining and thriving in those other roles in my life as well? So that's when I decided to get into business coaching as the second chapter, I guess, or the latter current chapter of my career. So that's what I do now, is I work with women in all stages of their business, and working with them on not only the business skills and, the technical stuff, but also how do we do that? How do we flip those hats successfully from, it could be, being somebody's partner or spouse, being a mother, being an aunt, being a friend, as well as wearing that entrepreneur hat as well. And it's tricky, isn't it? Like, we've got a lot on the go. I don't know. Would you agree, Adriana?
I agree. And it's funny that we always make a list like that, and never do we ever include taking a break. So when I was writing this summary for this episode, I was reading into it, and I was like, okay, so are you ready to learn from our experience and achieving success, managing a business, life as a mom, finding happiness, and taking a break? And it's funny because nobody ever includes that in there, and it's wild. Yeah. I was trying to do some like reading before the show, just to kind of see how many studies were out there about the benefits of taking a break as an entrepreneur. And it just seemed so like common sense, right? That I feel like people don't take those seriously, because it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But you're not really digesting it. Like, you're not really thinking about, you actually make better decisions, or you are more creative, or blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I think we need to talk about this. That's why I want, and this kind of fit in perfectly with what we've been working on. So I'm super excited that you're here. And it's funny because like you do it, I do it, and everybody's like, yeah, I do this, this, and this, and this. And not at any point do I say I religiously take a break, because I don't.
No.
Right.
Well, and it's also about taking care of ourselves. That also wasn't in my list, right? Being Jenn was not in my list of roles like, or identity.
What does Jenn need? Like, Jenn's fine, right? Jenn is like super mom. And I love that. I love that people tend to equate that with, being a mom, which is nice, but it's so damaging to like the human self,
for sure,
the person that needs a break, or the person that maybe can't do it all. Like, I have to tell you, this weekend, you were asking me before the show, so what did I do this weekend? This is a perfect example. I had it in my head that on Sundays, like, my son goes to soccer, so we're getting ready for soccer. It's 10:40, like, our soccer fields are right outside of our home, so it's great. I just like to stroll over, right? At 10:45 it starts. And then my partner's asking me, hey, when's this birthday party that we're supposed to go to? I was like, oh, I don't know, like 2:00 or something. I don't know. So I go and scroll through my phone, and I realize that it starts at 11 and it is 10:40. And I had just convinced my toddler to put on his soccer uniform, and now I'm telling him to take it off. Chaos ensued. And then I had a moment to think about what happened, Adriana. Like, why was this not in your calendar? Or because I fail without my calendar, clearly.
For sure.
But it's because I've been so go that I haven't been able to look ahead in my week. I haven't been able to just sit down, have a coffee, and think about what I need to do. So at that point, my hair wasn't done. I hadn't put makeup on. I hadn't taken a shower yet. Like, literally, I was just like, oh my God. So immediately I'm like on the phone with a friend, telling her exactly what happened. And this is a direct link to, like, yes, this isn't like I understand this is like first world problems. I get it. This wasn't some like emergency, but this keeps on repeating in my life. And it's a pattern because I'm not paying attention to certain things because I just don't have capacity anymore.
Right. Yeah. And we rely on things, right? We're like, okay, set it and forget it. We did it. We thought about it. I'm caught in that all of the time. And I find as the kids get older, right? So it's one thing when they're babies, that's a whole other demanding stage of life for sure. But when they get older and they start to have social lives and calendars, then it's like, not only are that, but we're kind of like an event coordinator 24/7. Add that to the list of things that we take care of.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I can't tell you when was the last time I enjoyed cooking. And I used to enjoy cooking a lot. And now it's like, what? We need to have dinner again? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so bad. And I used to enjoy cooking, and it doesn't happen anymore because I just don't give myself enough time to enjoy it anymore. And that's what it is, right?
Yeah. And we can feel like we just, in all parts of our life, that we just start going through the motions instead of actually being like thoughtful and intentional and enjoying things that we actually do enjoy. And there comes a point, I remember hitting that and kind of going like, do I have to? Do I have to do this? Maybe, what if I didn't actually just do this? And it was like game changing because all of a sudden I got some of my time back.
Right. So how did you teach me your ways?
I would be totally a fraud if I said I could teach you anything about that. I just, that was part, I guess, of when I transitioned out of one business and into the other, is that I felt like one of my biggest priorities was the second part of my career needed to take into account our family and the life I was trying to create, as opposed to business first and then shove everything else in around it. It just wasn't healthy. It wasn't healthy for me. It wasn't healthy for the business, and it wasn't healthy for my family. So I just tore it apart, and I would say I reverse engineered it, actually. And do I have it nailed down? No. But is it a lot better than it was? Heck yes.
Right. So it's funny because it's like going through stages. And I talked recently at this birthday party that I was at that I made it 2 hours late for. I was talking. I got there. I had the gift. I had the kid. Yeah. It was good. It's good. Forgot the Crocs, but that's okay. Fine. He just ran around barefoot. So it is what it is. They were playing in water, so they had running. Anyway, that was a whole other argument in the car. So chaos ensued for sure at my house yesterday. So that was the best of it. But I was talking to the mom, and the mom was recently thinking about kind of going on her own as well. So this mom / friend, and I said to her, like, I know that you have this like overwhelming desire to just say yes to every single job that comes across your desk at the beginning. And yeah, that's what happens at first when you're trying to kind of like expand your clientele. But you do get to the point where you're just like, oh, I really don't enjoy doing that. I really need to stop taking those kinds of jobs, right? Especially for somebody that started out as a VA, like me, because I think that's what she wants to do. And I said, my best advice to you is find a niche that you're passionate about, that you like doing, because then people will also flock to you that are more on the lines of your ideal client than anybody that needs somebody to do data entry, right? Like, you're not going to be fulfilled doing data entry. Knowing her, there's nothing wrong with data entry. Somebody needs to do it. Sure. I've done it. I've been there, right? I'm just saying, knowing her and the jobs that she's worked before. She's worked in government. She's worked in environmental, she's just had this like pattern of working that I kind of know what she'd be satisfied with. And she was just saying, well, I want to start out with, I have these 3 clients going. And I said, that's better than most people. I'm like, you don't realize how some people just one day wake up and go, nope, screw this. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. And start at nothing, for sure. I remember in my very first business, our very first client, and like, thank goodness that it happened, and it was a referral of somebody that I had worked with before, and it was awesome. But there was no conversation around, is this the right fit? Is this the right kind of work? Is this the client we want to take on? It was like, oh, somebody's willing to pay us money. That's great. Okay. And like, it's lovely. It gave us like this start, but at the same time, was it strategic? Not necessarily. The problem is, if we do it once, that's okay. But typically it just sets the stage for like poor boundaries and poor strategic decisions in your business. So,
right. So totally agree. And she was very receptive, which is nice, because I feel like the more that we talk to each other, the better. And I actually, when I was doing this light reading about taking a break, I also wanted to know if there were any well-known studies about networking, right? And knowing the people. And I couldn't really find any that were scientific studies. It was just more of like a anecdotal, it matters who you know, right? And like in this instance, it does matter who you know. Like even yesterday, I was telling her all the things that I would do differently. Right. Being in the same kind of environment as her, even though we might not be niching in the same things, she was able to gain a different perspective because I've gone through it, right? And it's funny, do you consider going to a kid's birthday party as a break? Well, I'm not doing work, but I am networking.
Sure.
Right? So while I appreciate all of these things, how do we define a break? Right?
Oh man, yeah, it's a good question. And I have a story about how I kind of figured out that I was always on. As soon as you become an entrepreneur, self-employed, and Jack was still a baby, and I remember I was kind of still on mat leave, I guess. And one day I was like, well, we'll just hit the mall, do whatever, walk around, like basically variety in what we were looking at. But I remember I just had like my favorite jeans on and a favorite t-shirt, but by no means were they kind of really put together. I don't think I was wearing makeup, but like whatever. It is fine. Yeah. It just wasn't the like maybe outer appearance or professional appearance that I would have put on typically. Stroll around the mall, and I met somebody that was like in my network, and like I, in the end, became a client. And I had that moment like strolling this stroller and realizing like, oh, I'm never just Jenn and can just wear her frumpy clothes again and nobody will notice, right? Like you kind of do take on this different persona that should be authentic to you, but it's maybe like you want to come across, it can happen anywhere, I guess is my point, in that people, can spot you anywhere. They want to stop and talk, and business is done. I have done business. I've gained clients at my son's baseball game. So very similar to your story. Like it happens anywhere. The majority of my clients come through referrals. So you just never know when actual business conversations are going to pop up. And that's kind of a beautiful thing. Nobody's complaining. But it is a transition from what maybe we're used to in the corporate world.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's like that whole dichotomy of, but I can make my own schedule. If I don't want to work, I'm not working. But also, but I should work because I'm hustling for myself. And, can I finish at 5 o'clock or can I not work on a weekend? Like I was saying to a client earlier that I was going to work on the weekend, and she was like, no, don't do that. And I was like, yes, like normally I would say, no, I don't want to do that, but I'm going to be taking like 10 days off at the end of August.
Right. Yeah. There's a trade-off there.
This is my balance, right? This is my balance to be able to go on and not be anxious that I have so many things to do. And like, the reality is I'm not going to get everything done on my list because that's never how it happens. Things come up. I understand. But there is some sort of like, okay, you got to like give and take to be able to take that break. For me, it was wonderful going camping. So I have to say it wasn't really a restful break. It was just a break from work.
Yeah, different, right? It's different.
Yeah, and camping is a lot of physical work, right? But my brain was off. Yeah, but my brain was off once I got there. And honestly, I would forget where I put my phone, and that's huge for me.
That is huge.
I'm like, has anyone seen my phone? You know what I mean? So, but not to say that I don't know, anybody who has like ADHD or any sort of anxiety to do like around work and stuff will know like your brain never really stops. And even when I'm sitting at the fire, I was like, oh, I should take a reel of this because
it was beautiful though. I saw it.
I know I love fires, but it never really stops. And then from that, I went to, oh yeah, I really should be reviewing this copy for the sales page. Oh, I should contact so-and-so. Oh, I should, so it just goes on and on and on. But at least I wasn't there like immersing myself in work. And I read this part of, I've mentioned this book before. I think I told you about it too. Burnout. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Really great book.
It's a really great book.
Really great book.
Halfway through.
Oh yeah. I'm so glad. Yeah. So it's probably one of my favorite books and probably my first audio book. I never did audio before. I tried to read and then I was never really having the time to do that. So I love that I can drive and like listen to these books.
Yeah.
And it explained the way that you can take a break by using a different part of your brain. So while I shut my computer down here, I go upstairs and I start planning for our, I don't know, family reunion or
Sure.
holiday or planning Christmas gifts. That's a different part of your brain working. So while it's not a complete break, you're taking a break from doing this particular kind of client work or whatever, right? So even that counts as a break. But what happens to the people that continuously do this and never have a chance to just shut off?
Yeah, I talked about that with my clients, especially this time of year, right? They're all trying to like squeeze out time to take vacation with their family, and they call it vacation, but they're like, oh, but I'll probably work a day, I'll squeeze a day in here, or I'll do this. And I'm like, or you could just take a vacation. Well, I couldn't possibly, what would my clients think? And I'm like, your clients will think you are human, and that's the business that you've set up. Somehow we've, and you mentioned in hustle culture, right, that we've glorified this idea that nobody needs a break. But really, what does it do? Burnout, mistakes happen, we're less creative, all of these things happen. So why wouldn't we take a break? And what are your kids going to remember if you have kids and that's part of your vacation plans during the summer? Are they going to remember, mom hanging out at the campfire and just being silly, or mom, just 1 minute, I just have to finish this email, right? Like, that's our core memories are built around those times. So it's okay. You are supposed to have vacation and away time from your work, whether it is you're an employee of somebody or you're self-employed. You're supposed to have a break. It is okay.
But nobody gives you a medal for being this like hustle person, because it's not normal. It's not something that's biologically, like, think about, I'm about to get woo here for a second, but think about the seasons of the year.
Oh, right? Yeah.
If Mother Earth can take off from like September to April, you can take off a week. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I have to think about what this book is. I think it's called The 4 Seasons. And it's by Dal. I'll have to look it up for you, and we'll throw it in the notes if that's okay. But he talks about how the seasons are designed in that way, and that as humans, we worked within the seasons, right? Like, we grew crops, and then we harvested, and then we preserved those foods so that because we couldn't go out and forage food during the winter months, but that was the time, and the daylight shrinks, and that's the time that we go inward and we are more thoughtful, and we have like our kind of intimate group of friends and not that big group that we may have in the summer. So we as humans kind of worked in that seasonal change, and now, because of obviously artificial light and everything else, like, we're totally out of sync in that rhythm, and how unhealthy it is.
Of course. And I think of somebody like my dad who he's a plumber that works on commercial projects, so not residential, right? And he's done really awesome things, like I think some of the TIFF buildings, like the Cancer Research Hospital in Toronto, the Brampton Hospital, Terminal 3 at Pearson Airport. Like, there's so many big projects that he's worked on. We don't realize that, like, he's just tired. Like, he's really young. He's mid-50s. He's really young, but he's tired. And sometimes I don't think people understand the kind of tired that he's talking about. He was out there in the winter working physically outside. I remember him having to like put on these different kinds of layers that were like thermal and whatever else.
Oh yeah.
So his physical and mental, because he was a foreman too, so he was in charge of other people. He was also doing the work with them. I don't know if we're meant to be working in -30 conditions.
Oh, for sure. My husband is a trades guy as well. He's a foreman, commercial, everything you just talked about. And so I do the laundry in the winter where I have to peel layers from layers, because he's like, it's freezing and there's no stopping, right? There's no like, oh, it's too cold to work, or right now it's too hot to work. He's like, you work through it, and it's exhausting.
But we're not meant to do that. I don't think we're meant to, like, if our skin can't be outside without like getting frostbite, that's an indication that you're supposed to be inside.
Industry would beg to differ with you, Adriana.
Sure, but that's only here. You don't see people in France, Italy, Spain, doing things like that. You don't see them doing things like that because they know it's not. I was watching I'm kind of all over the place, but I just need to share it all. I was watching a video yesterday about this marketer. She's a professional marketer, and she works in North America, but she lived in France for 11 years. So she was talking, about the big, I'm not going to say the brand, but it's the big cups, the insulated cups that everybody keeps walking around with. And she was explaining that while to the average mom or girl on the go here in North America, that's an ad that would work, somebody in France wouldn't consider it that at all, because it's seen as rude if you're taking any food or drink to go. Because meal times are sacred.
Right.
Meal times are when you take a break and you sit down and you eat with your family and your friends, or by yourself. She made the distinction of saying, or by yourself, because you are honoring everything that you just did and getting some energy. That is not how we operate here. And that's the same thing as taking imagine if you didn't have to go get your lunch on the go. I was talking to another mom yesterday at the birthday party, and she was talking about, so first of all, she works in a hospital setting. Okay. And I forget if she's still on the surgery side or not. Regardless, it's some really intense, type of work. I could never do it. Good for her. We need people like her. It's not easy work. No. And I remember she was like, I had to get my lunch, then I had to drop my car off at this place to get my tires rotated or whatever. And I'm eating my lunch at the same time and going. And I'm like, that would never happen anywhere else. Right? That would never happen. And so in your work day, you just sent off the kids to school. You went to work and worked your 12-hour shift. Then on your lunch, you barely had something to eat, and then took care of car errands. And then you got home and made dinner and probably did some laundry. What?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not complaining. I just think that we need to be more intentional about the things that we do ourselves.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. And even as entrepreneurs, it's also, it's hard to distinguish between working, and I know we've all heard it before, but working in the business versus working on the business. And it's so easy to get caught up in, right? We're just doing the business, the execution, the client work, the whatever. Yeah. And oftentimes I hear oh shoot, sales are tanking. Well, yeah, because you haven't spent any time working on the business. You haven't come up for air to kind of look at it from that 1,000-foot view, to be strategic again, and to plan and to make sure that you're finding the best clients that are the best match for mutual success together. Yeah. Yeah. So it's exactly the same, even when we go a level deeper, right? As opposed to looking at your business and saying what am I doing? Am I spending all of my time in the doing, or am I spending time in the planning, the thinking, and actually creating a business that serves this life I'm trying to create, so I can take a vacation and I can serve the best people and I can, feel fulfilled and that I'm fulfilling my own purpose on this planet, because that's part of it, right? If we're not doing that, if we don't have that sense of fulfillment, it's not going to be sustainable.
Not at all. So how about I'm just going to list off here a couple of things that people need to be aware of when it comes to taking breaks and why you should be taking a break. And then let's talk about a project, and let's show everybody what we're talking about in terms of exciting news. Okay. So the studies that have been done, they highlight a couple of categories of benefits, right? So one would be improved. So, and Jen, jump in anytime.
Sure.
Improved creativity and problem solving. And that is part of the human decision process, right? And you maybe people don't realize, but you're making a decision every breathing moment, and you can get decision fatigue, and you and you sometimes just want somebody to take it all away and deal with it while you get to sit on the sidelines, right? But sometimes that's not possible because you're the CEO, you're the breadwinner,
well, Mother's Day, my only request on Mother's Day is I don't want to make any decisions today. I need nothing else other than to not make a decision today. So you're right. We do totally get just overwhelmed by the amount of decisions that we need to make. And what does that do is it squeezes out every ounce of creativity, right? There's a reason that your best ideas come when you're in the shower, right? Like the saying goes, it's because you're just doing something that you're not really thinking about, whether it's washing your hair or whatever you're just doing. And it opens up space for your brain to think in a different way. Instead of being kind of like forced into that decision making, like right now you have to do it, make a decision.
Totally. And you get stressed out about it. And that's the second category, right? Where it can reduce stress and burnout. And this was actually, there's a study done in the Journal of Applied Psychology. And it's just that taking breaks during the workday can help reduce stress and prevent burnout. Now, when you ask somebody what the intervals are, they're very different. And I feel like no one's wrong. I think it just depends on how you work best.
Totally.
Right? People would say, your brain can't handle more than 2 hours, 2-hour blocks. Somebody's saying 1 hour block. Somebody's saying, make sure you take, 5 breaks during the day, depending on like when you work. I think it depends, right? Like we all hit that. Well, people who've worked corporate, they know about the 3 o'clock wall, right? But other people who've worked other kinds of jobs, they might be hitting different kinds of walls. So I do think that in order to reduce your own stress, you kind of have to test it out. My one tip is set alarms, because it's so easy to get sucked into doing the work that you forget. I forget this. I'm supposed to be, so for some medical things, I'm supposed to be actually splitting up my food every 2 hours. That's so hard for me, because sometimes I don't even take a break, or I'll come here and I'll eat in front of the screen and they tell you not to. They tell you not to eat in front of a screen, right? Because you're not aware of what you're eating, how much you're eating. And
there's
you're
no
not
mindfulness.
Yes. And you're supposed to chew it a certain amount of time. It's sure. So,
well, but again, it speaks to that kind of North American culture that we're just so absent-minded around what we eat. I took a mindfulness course once, and the first exercise was around put a raisin in your mouth and eat this thing mindfully. And I remember feeling like, this is so awkward. And they're like, no, like really, like, what does it taste like? What is the texture? How does it feel in your mouth? Like, just experience that raisin for like a minute. And I was like, are you kidding me? I could have done like 18 other things, which really speaks to how mindlessly we actually do these things. So it makes sense. It's just hard culturally because we're so programmed to be productive.
And what's funny, they like people make fun of us all the time around the world that we are like this, and I think it's because they don't understand. It all goes back to kind of how we view work, right? And that's like what our life revolves around. And they make fun of us about how we do groceries once every 2 or 3 weeks, and we eat like crap and whatever else. And while that's the truth, the people don't seem to understand. It's because we're working 40 to 50 hours a week, and we weren't taught to enjoy these things. I think we just need to put the brakes on, understand that there's a time for work, and then there's also a time to live, and the time to live should be greater than the time of work.
Oh,
right?
Yes. Or else you're going to get way down the line and be filled with regret, I think.
I think so.
Like, oh my gosh, I just spent years, or I wasted years worrying about deadlines for whatever, instead of actually sitting down and breaking bread with people and laughing together and sharing stories and like that, right? Like picture yourself at 80 or 90 years old going like, oh my gosh, I missed all of that. And those people are gone now, and I can never get that back.
Yeah. And it's funny. I view it as we're the early stage. So if you think of the world, different parts of the world at different stages of entrepreneurship, we're the early stage. We're the people that are taking on everything and that are pushing through everything, that have no regard for or intention into setting our time. Whereas like Europe has had like hundreds of years of labor laws, right? And I'm just giving Europe as an example because I know it best, but there are many, many places around the world that do it better than us too. I 100% understand. When they're kind of like, look at those suckers still in the beginning stage where they can't even enjoy a meal because they're like, I got to go back to work, right? Where they have 6 weeks of vacation a year paid, and or Italy takes a whole month off, like in the summer, plus any other, like, you know, like we're like the beginning stages because we're so new, right? And it's hard that we live in the same timeline. It's not like this was past, future, whatever.
We're on like different timelines, but in the same planet. It's so odd.
Yes, it's weird because it now people we're talking about I forget where exactly it might be in our neighbors in the States, where they're looking to adopt a 4-day school week.
Oh, really?
And everyone was kind of like, oh, that'd be cool. I think it must be in a certain state. I'm not sure. I forget the actual. And I'm like, but maybe that's where it starts, right? Like that's where you kind of start with the whole Monday to Friday. And my job is to go to school. Then when I'm done, Monday to Friday, my job is to go earn a paycheck, right? Like it's, I think that's where it starts. And I'm like, well, I'm hoping that we can kind of like learn from some of, you know, other parts of this world to learn to be like, okay, let's be more intentional about our time. We don't work.
Well,
we don't
I feel
live
like
to work, right?
Yeah, and I feel like we are like a culture of extremes. So either like, and I feel this way about school break, and I get that summer break is like based around the season, and I get that. But like, I hit my limit last week where I was like, oh, I think it's time for the kids to go back to school now. Like, but I've said this right through, like if they had a 6-week break for summer, I feel like that would be great. They would feel rested. They wouldn't have lost so much that they've learned. And they're ready to go back. But I would love to see another 6-week break somewhere in the middle of the year, right? So instead of going for the big kahuna, right, like in the summer, let's break it into 2 small ones. And I feel like that curve, like that roller coaster would become much more sustainable. And that goes for us too. It's okay to take multiple breaks, whether it's during the day, the week, the month, or the season, or the year. Like just make it a consistent thing in your life.
Yeah. And for anybody that's wondering, so in Canada, I think depending on if you're in like middle school or high school, it's a little bit different, but it's around June that everybody lets out. And then they go back in the first week of September. Whereas in the States, they go back in August, right?
Right. But they're out a little bit earlier, possibly, I think, as well.
They for some reason, they have like a little bit of a shorter period of time. Yeah. When I was growing up in Romania, we had a really long break, but at Christmas, we got a really long break, not as long. I think it was at least 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And then at Easter, we'd also get 2 weeks, whereas here it's just like a Friday and a Monday. So you did get kind of a little bit more of a balance. Break
like, and then you feel like, you know, I know at least my kids, like by the time you get to spring break time, they're just holding on for dear life to get to there. And I don't know if a week is enough of a break for them to fully recharge. I would rather them have 2 weeks there and take a week off of the summer, just balance it back out. But so, yes, we are a culture of extremes.
We are. And I'm just going to zoom through the other categories, and then I want us to kind of give them some tips about you know, how to actually prepare for it and talk about our project. But for anybody that's tuning in, I just wanted to do our halfway mark intro here. So we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and Paranormal UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. And we're also on Roku TV if you want to check out some of our other shows. And I'm here, your host, Adriana, on Negotiating Happiness. And this is my guest, Jenn from Honeyflow Coaching. And we're talking about taking breaks and how nobody's ever taught us how to take a proper vacation as an entrepreneur. So we were just in the middle of talking about some categories of benefits that you get from taking breaks. And the next one would have been better decision-making, which we've covered, physical and mental health benefits, which involves taking breaks from those like long hours of high stress, right? Or if you read the book Burnout, you learn about you need to finish the cycle of stress, which we never think about. Yeah, the cycle. The other one is enhanced work-life balance. This was a study from the Journal of Business Venturing, and they suggest that entrepreneurs who take breaks and maintain a healthy work-life balance tend to have a better long-term business performance. So if you want to be in this for the long haul, this is something you need to take seriously. Okay. Enhanced productivity, right? You're well rested, you're able to perform faster. It's like thinking about this old tired machine that just keeps going on and on and on. But if they take a break, it's like it's coming back with new life, right? It's the same thing. And increased focus and attention. You can, so it's not the same as interruptions, right? Like taking intentional breaks, right, will help you kind of restart. It's like you're a computer. You're not supposed to leave your computer on for 3 months at a time, right? Restart it from time to time. It'll help.
All of the things you're mentioning just seem like such common sense, and yet none of us do it well.
Zero. Yes. 0 out of 10. Yes.
Oh.
So here's some tips that I'm preparing for to take a vacation. So I've made a list, right, of things that absolutely need to be done before and things that can wait. And if you're not sure, it means it can wait. Okay? Because there has to be a give and take. 1. 2, you need to communicate your breaks with your clients. Put it in their calendar, send them a reminder. You don't even need to say it directly at the beginning. You just do that, make it in the calendar, and then while you're talking to them, make it natural and bring it into conversation. But just say, don't worry, it's already in your calendar, blah, blah, blah. There. Now they're like, oh, okay, great. So then I can plan around that when I have time to think about it. Cool. Another thing is plan out your operation stuff. So when do you need to bill? When can you do that earlier? Can you schedule it? Can you get somebody else to bill for you? Or can you just talk to your clients and say, hey, I'm just going to bill you 5 days early because there's not going to be any work done until then anyway. And, pay it at the end or whatever it is that you feel comfortable with for your terms, right? And also, seems, again, super common sense, but I still forget to do it sometimes. Put on your out of office or schedule your out of office now. Because on that Friday or on that Thursday that you're done, the last thing you want to do is you just want to close that computer. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times I've had to go back and log in to be like, oh my God, I have to play out of office because I forgot. Schedule it now, right? Tech, it has made it very easy for us to schedule emails ahead, schedule our out of office, schedule payments, schedule posts, right? Check in with your social media person, or if that's you, schedule everything ahead and not worry about that week. Things can be, your business can even look like it's still operating while you're on vacation. That's how easy tech has made it for us, right?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are scared to tell their clients or anybody that they're going on vacation. But I'm like, what if you just created that as the standard in which your relationship operates? And I expect, client, that you're going to take vacation too, and tell me how we can support you when that's happening.
Yes.
Right? It's about establishing a relationship that is healthy for both of you. And that, I'm off a bit later this week. My kid's playing baseball in another state, country, whatever. So we're heading out. Every one of my clients is not only yeah, of course, let's juggle things around, let's move things around. But they're also I hope you have a really awesome time.
Yeah.
Right. And if they didn't have that kind of attitude, I would question if I have aligned myself with the best clients for the business that I'm trying to create, and vice versa.
Exactly. And I understand that you sometimes don't have the privilege or the opportunity to be able to pick what kind of clients you have, because again, if you're in the beginning stages, I understand, but slowly you have to make some changes. You have to relinquish some of that control to fear. You're relinquishing your control to fear, but you have to actually relinquish the control to your planning methods, to your confidence, not to your fear, right? You are a capable person, so you now need to relinquish that control to say, I've planned for this, so I'm going to go in it with a mind that this is going to work just fine. Now, you're right. Maybe that's not your ideal client, and maybe next time you're going to make a better decision on who you take on as a client if you're able to. Great. The other thing too that I find that people do a lot is when you're newer, you tend to not understand that you're on equal footing. So when you talk to your client, you're talking to them like they're your employer. So that's where the fear comes of, I can't tell them I'm taking vacation. Yes, you can.
Right.
So the way you approach it is you say, hey, I'm thinking of taking the end of August off. Are we going to be off at the same time? Can you give me your dates when you think you're going to be off? I'd like to plan a meeting before or a meeting after, or I'd like to plan our content for when you're gone or when I'm gone, and then most of the time they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's do it. So then you have to understand that you're saying, I expect you to take a vacation just like I'm taking a vacation, and vice versa. So then you're on equal footing here. But if you're approaching it as like, sorry, I gotta take a vacation.
Sure.
Like that does not give the image that you are confident, you know what you're doing, and this is your business, right? It gives the image of like, wait, so could I tell you to take it later? Could I push it or be like, but could you not just work that one Wednesday, right? Like it just leaves room for all of this kind of like nonsense. And people just need to get over that, because you're not going to feel like your own boss until you start acting like it, right?
Yeah, it's a good point. And I would argue that whether it's your business or your client's business, but if neither business can handle either of you being away for a period of time, I think it's more important that you go and look at the lack of strategy and the lack of like,
it's not sustainable.
There should be no fire at that point, right? Like, and if you live your whole business life like there's a fire, they're like, we got to back up like 18 steps and look at why is that actually happening, as opposed to like, yeah, I need you here next week.
Yeah, like there's no standard operating procedures in place. And I know that people kind of are like, either what the hell are those, or, oh, I don't need those. You do, because you need to be able to have somebody else step in so that you can have a breather.
Absolutely.
If you can't take a vacation, it's not sustainable, right? So there's no processes in place. There's no like automation where things get done while you're away too. Even if it's as little as like onboarding someone, imagine having to stop from your vacation to spend 4 or 5 hours onboarding someone. Like what? Right? Like there's so many things that I work with clients that do this all the time. So just a quick refresher here. Jenn is an entrepreneur coach. She has so much experience with different businesses, and she advises people. And I think you have courses too, masterminds, and one-on-one coaching. I'm an OBM, so I help with the staff management, project management. We do some VA work as well, and we help people get organized in the back end. So we do automations and platform implementation just to make sure things are running smoothly without your constant touch, And what we've worked on is a really cool retreat that we want to present to people here in Ontario. And actually here, should we share the page, Jenn?
Oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'm so excited. Yes. And this idea was really around these conversations that Adriana and I were having, right? For quite some time, to say like, how do we do this? How do we get out of the day-to-day? And we can't be alone, right? That there has to be more of us. And the more we have this conversation, the more we realize we're like, oh, everybody's feeling these things. And it might be all of it or some of it. But so what better way to kind of get out of the typical 9 to 5 than actually get yourself out of the typical 9 to 5?
Right. Like it's wild to me that, oh, what did I just do? Oh, look at me breaking the stream here.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
So we actually named it the Entrepreneur Escape, which like it's not that you're escaping your life. We want you to create a business that you don't feel like you need to escape, but it's important to retreat and escape the normal every day to add some variety into your thinking, into your creative space, into your circles of people that you're hanging out with. It's important. It's like life-giving to your business.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And it's something that we need to think about more often. So we wanted to make something that was restful, but also brings value into your business. Because if you are like us, where, you know, we're always kind of like, go, 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 think of new ideas, like, you know, the motor's running all the time. We wanted to provide not only the rest, but also the value that you get to go back to your business with. We want you to feel recharged. We want you to, you know, talk to people that are in the same situation as you, make some friends. And networking is really, really important. So we're envisioning that this is going to be other female entrepreneurs that you can potentially make connections for the rest of your life with, or maybe they're potential clients, or maybe you're just going to have a really good time and learn a couple of tricks of the trade, right? So we don't gatekeep here, and we wanted to make that very, very apparent. So we've designed this page, and it tells you all about this retreat, and we try to explain it from our point of view. So if you're reading through this and kind of going, yep, that sounds like my head right now, you're in the right place.
Absolutely.
You're in the right place. So this is basically what we're going to do when we're there. Let me see if these are pictures of the place that we're staying at the resort. It is an all-inclusive price, and we've carefully curated it so that it includes your stay, your a la carte meals, our activities there, workshops, consultations. Like, you get both of our brains separately, like on 101 as well if you want, and you get to learn more and more about businesses that could be lacking exactly what you're offering. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the key is that I think, especially as women, we do things well in community. So let's create a space to, one, rest well in the company of others, but also get out of our own space, out of our own minds, but with people that are in similar situations, so that we can say, like, hey guys, I actually have this problem, or this has been playing on me for a little bit. Has anybody gone through this before? Right? The idea is, and this is like kind of my methodology for all of my coaching, is flatten the learning curve and shrink the timelines to success. And if we can do that, and we can kind of put some boosters on that over this weekend together in community with other women entrepreneurs, oh my gosh, you're going to leave and, like, one, be so motivated and inspired, but also rested. And that is the idea, right? Like, leave with a bit of spark back into your energy, but also feeling rested, and like you've had this moment to take a deep breath and really reflect on what's been good, what's been not so good, and what am I going to keep doing? What's the next step of this journey for me?
Yeah, like we even have, so let's go through some of the highlights here. We're doing an activity by the bonfire. We're doing a mini meditation. We're doing a mini branding shoot. So you can take those back to your team or back just with you to create more materials for yourself and use it as promo. We'll have a workshop about business operations, and I'm going to teach you some of the easiest ways to automate parts of your business that will cut down on the amount of admin work that you have to do. And we'll also do a workshop about pricing and optimizing your funnel, so how to attract those leads and how to be true to your value that you're offering, and stop, letting fear dictate what your pricing is. And don't feel bad. We've all been there, including myself in this thing. And you have some free time. There's lots of facilities there, like heated pools, and you can go hiking, and a whole bunch of things that we can we can go through. And then we'll have a networking spotlight where you get to know your group members even more. And then we'll do some mini consultations. If people want to sign up, they can sign up for it, or they can go have a nap, or they can sleep in the next day, or they can come for a hike. And obviously your stay is included in your a la carte meals and all of this. And we'll have some materials that you can physically take back with you and notes, either to delegate to your team or to have it as a resource for yourself. We are so excited that we get to do this, that we've decided to offer it at an early bird rate and then at the regular rate after.
Yeah, so we also wanted to give people the option of like single or double occupancy, right? Because some people, you pick your comfort level. You can bring a business bestie, as we said, if you want to pair up with another guest in your life. Like, come together and enjoy it and meet other people. You can bunk together if you choose, and that's a slightly different rate based on double occupancy. And single occupancy obviously is a little bit higher, but
money with your bestie, right?
Yeah. Adriana and I are bunking together. It's going to be a good time.
Yes, we are.
Right?
Yes, we are. That's right. That's right. And early bird pricing ends August 24th. So we are welcoming applications. We are giving our nearest and dearest an opportunity to apply first, because we really appreciate who we work with. And but definitely send in your applications. Let us know who you want to bunk with, or let us know if you have any preferences. If you're worried about your meal options, do not fret. They have vegetarian, vegan, they have gluten-free, they have all kinds of wonderful options. It's a really nice resort. It is in Ramara, Ontario. It is on Lake Simcoe. If you are familiar, Lake Simcoe is huge. So it's actually really close to, oh my gosh, Aurelia, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Aurelia. Yeah. So basically, you drive up, maybe you drive up with your bestie, you park, and then your weekend begins, and is September 29th to October 1st. And that's kind of got that like fall vibe, which I can't wait for. And everything is covered from then on, including our refreshments during our workshops or our consults. They're going to take care of us, and I'm really excited for that. It's a beautiful resort, and I just can't wait to just talk to more people that are in the same boat as us and make new connections, and also be away from the whole, hey, I don't have to do dishes tonight.
Yeah. It's amazing, because somebody's like, oh, I'll just, I often hear it. I'll just take a night, or I'll take a day and I'll go do whatever. And it's true. And you can absolutely do that. In my experience, there's so much power when people gather, just like we talked about eating meals together, right? There's powerful things that happen there when we come together. And this is like that. We want to have opportunities for reflection, and without all the distractions of our everyday life. That is key. But I also want you to leave with nuggets of inspiration and be able to actually process that. Oftentimes we'll go to a conference, and it's a one-day conference, and we're like, information. Like, it's just bang, 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 bang. Because it's like, get it all in and then leave. And what happens is we put all of those papers or folders on our desk, and we're like, I'm going to get to that. That was great. And nothing happens, because we go back into our regular world, and it gets really busy. So our goal through this retreat is to, impart information on you and give you space and time to think about it, think about how you would implement it in your business, and walk away from that weekend with a plan to say, hey, here's what we need to do. Here's what I'm going to focus on in the next little bit.
Yeah, no, totally. And we have to highlight here how this is going to be like a double whammy, right? The resting and then the connecting. for your business.
Yeah.
And yes, the after, that 100% I agree with Jenn. It's our goal to have you leave there with more impactful, actionable things rather than just a pile of like, you know, when you get those VIP bags that you're never really going to go through. That's not the goal here. The goal here is for you to leave with some decisions that you've made over the weekend and then implement them or delegate them to your team. And we give you enough resources for your team that didn't attend to be able to say, oh, I see. This is step 1 through 10, 1 through whatever.
Yeah.
But this is how we're going to change it. Because, and I know it's just a weekend and maybe later on, maybe we'll do retreats where it's a little bit longer, but look at it as a business expense, right? This is definitely deductible for that. And you are investing in your own sanity. Really, you're investing in your own sanity while still being productive.
And your own success, right? Like get realigned back into that vision of what you want that business to be. Because it's like we said, we live in the day-to-day of our business. And sometimes we just go where it needs us to go. This is a great way to recalibrate, get regrounded into what it is, and align yourself back into that vision of the business you're trying to create and the life that you're trying to create via your business. So it's, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Me too. I can't wait to meet some of you guys and make memories and maybe make some new connections that we can work with together. Like, who knows? I mean, this is what, I don't know if you guys know, but Jenn and I met online. So this is exactly what brought us together. We're networking groups and, you know, events online. And because when we kind of clicked, because we were on the same page about not necessarily at the same level, because I was still new, right? Or I was newer, right, than Jenn is, but we connected.
Hey, now, are you calling me old?
No, you just have so much experience.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I felt like such a newbie compared to your experience,
Not
right?
at all.
But it's, I don't know. I think our, you know, business friendship is so valuable. And like I said, we don't gatekeep. We just know how to make connections, and they're really important. I think it really depends on who you know. And I've gotten to know people through Jenn, and they've eventually become my clients, right? So
and vice versa. It's been great.
I'm super excited for that. So why not? The question is,
Let's
why
do
not?
it.
Let's do it.
There is no why not. It's just do it.
I know.
Just go do it.
Let's do it. Like, look at that. Look at that beautiful sunset on the beach.
I can't wait.
And those beds where you're not going to have any kids crawling all over and screaming. Oh, it's going to be great.
Like uninterrupted breakfast and a coffee. It's going to be so good.
Imagine not have to get somebody's breakfast first before yours. That's wild. Yeah, I love it.
Honestly, I cannot wait.
So good. So good. So we just have a couple of questions when you click on the application, because we want to make sure that we're meshing well, and we want to you know, make sure that everybody in the group will be able to get the same kind of value from the time that we spend together. So it is limited because we want to give everybody the same amount of attention and time. And, you know, we care about how you're going to leave that weekend. So send us a message, apply on, and it's just ontarioassistant.com/retreat. And also Jenn's website. I'm sure there'll be a link there as well for that you can go click on, and it will direct you to this page as well. I did pop it in the chat if anybody is interested. And also, if you want to follow us on Instagram, we'll be posting lots on there, and Facebook. You'll see it's at assistant.ontario for me, and for Jenn, it's at Honeyflow Coaching. Woo.
You got it.
So I think that concludes for today. We're going to pop into our socials with news or with tidbits of, hey, were you thinking of doing this? Great news. We're already doing it. And here's where you can find it. Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah. Any last remarks, Jenn?
Just do yourself a favor, right? And get away And
Yeah.
it's such a service to yourself and to your business. It's such an investment. So I would highly encourage you to consider it. And if you have questions that we haven't answered, like throw us a DM or email me or whatever the case may be, but let's chat about it, because we want it to be a fit for you as well as us. So.
For sure. Yeah. And we've got a comment here on Twitch. Hello, what's up to you too? I think you're tuning in right at the end. Thanks for joining us though. Yeah, so I mean, we'll leave our links down there, and if you have any questions, we'll answer our DMs. If you want to send us one, please just let us know if there are any questions, or maybe you're wondering if we're offering something specific. Ask us. It might just not be on the page as of yet. Yeah.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for joining me, Jenn. This was lovely as usual. Yeah, lovely as usual. I'm so glad that we were able to get on this again. And thank you all for tuning into the show. Thank you to everyone at the network and in the chat room. So thank you to the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. And next week, we're going to have Megan Reed, who talks about her book called Main Character Energy, which she's been on the show before as well. I love it. The idea behind it is awesome. So join us next week as well. And remember, you can find us on Instagram, and we will be checking our DMs live. Wonderful. Thanks so much, Jenn.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Looking for stories that are fresh and new? Dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, cyberpunk, alternate history, and more. They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology, from 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.